Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. You are listening to Holding Down the Fort with Alejandro Soto. I'm going to try and keep this intro quick because this Friday we got a big ol' fun shindig show going down. It's called Blossom Bash. If you've been listening, you've heard about it. And Julia and I, today's guest, we've been working on this for quite some time now, and I've got a lot more work to do. And it's Monday night. I'm recording this the day before this episode will go up, just to give you some context of where I'm at in the time space continuum while recording this. So, yeah, let's see. I'm just going to give you a rundown of what's going on at Blossom Bash to try and encourage you to get some tickets and help us fill the place up. So, let's see. We'll have three DJs. We'll have Orion, my good buddy Orion, opening, and then you'll get a Pumas set from me, and then Good Luck Garrett is going to close out the night with a killer set. I'm super stoked to see what he puts down. This fella, he's a new fella to our little uh, art scene, or I guess not our art scene. He's been around town, around Fort Wayne for quite a while, but it's the first time we've gotten to work with him, and he's been super awesome to work with before, like leading up to the show, before the show has happened yet, and I'm excited to see what he does this Friday. We'll have live painters. We got Maisie Hussman. She was on the show a couple episodes ago. And we'll have Amber Hell, I'm sorry, it's probably not pronounced hell. God, I'm gonna have to ask her how to say her name right. But Amber Hehl, last name, is gonna be painting too. She does really cool stuff. She and Maisie both are amazing artists, and I'm excited to have them joining us for the evening. We'll have the Dry Lounge cooking. Well, geez, not cooking. I am just doing terrible with words. This intro, I said I was going to make it quick, and I do not feel like this is quick, but that's okay. Where was I? The Dry Lounge is going to be stirring beverages. If you haven't heard, they're doing a non alcoholic bar kind of deal. They're calling them mocktails. And we got to try some of them yesterday, and dude, so tasty. Like, the stuff is really good. Sean with them made a black and tan. Apparently there's like a non-alcoholic Guinness. He said that they brew the whole Guinness and then they evaporate out the alcohol, so it is like a legit Guinness, just like no alcohol, which I think is like pretty sweet, pretty intelligent. I mean, that's modern science meeting a centuries old technique. I mean, holy cow, what a time to be alive. So, getting drinks from the Dry Lounge. We'll have the aerialists. We've got Fort Wayne Aerial on the website here, but I think Summit City Pole is what they go by. It's going to be Danielle Carroll and her friend Savannah. I'm terrible with names, but they were both at Easy Steppin' in the fall. So if you got to see that or any of the videos, the gals that were flying around up in the air are going to be coming back, which I'm so stoked about. Like, holy cow, they do an amazing job. I'll have a couple people from Pyroscope doing LED flow arts. We're going to have projection art going all around the room. Art vendors selling their beautiful creations that we are so stoked to have on board. So it's really the intent is to have it be kind of like a mini music festival. Like, I think in this, I don't know if it was in the episode or while Julia and I were talking before or after, that I said that I like have dreams, like at night. I have dreams about being at music festivals, and so I'm super stoked that we're doing not a whole 3 day shindig, but our own little thing that is just right here in town, and is you don't have to take off of work or drop a whole bunch of cheddar on a pricey ticket and camping pass and then drive however long you have to get there. It's just right down the road, and I'm really excited that so many people in our community have really stepped up. And I mean, there's no way that this would have happened without so many people helping out. So thank you to everybody who is on the team, in the crew, anyone who's come to an ecstatic dance or to a show we've put on in the past. Really appreciate it. This is only able to happen because people come out and support what we're doing. So just like huge thanks for just being here, being around. All right, I said I was going to make it quick, and that was not quick. So let's get on to the episode. Enjoy this awesome conversation I had with Julia Catherine Hyndman.
Do you do a special like can popping thing?
Should we? We're recording now.
Oh, hello.
I mean, well, should we get the you can like kind of lean back. That's the good mic. Okay. Cool. This might be a good way to get into and get the business out of the way and talk about Blossom Bash that's on Friday. So we're drinking. Listen to this. That's the sound of a recess mood. A new tropic drink from a company whose name I don't know. And it's like, so this is a hot thing that seems to be picking up, that people are into like the nootropic beverages. And like, I mean, so again, to get the business out of the way, this episode's coming out on Tuesday. So that's like 3 or 4 days before Blossom Bash. And if you don't know, listeners, what Blossom Bash is, check the links below. Big dance party, art show, extravaganza, and the Dry Lounge is going to be there serving non-alcoholic drinks. And it's not the recess mood that we're drinking today, but bevies of their own creation. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the thing. That's the vibe.
It says it's an antidote to modern times.
God knows we need that. Yeah, so Julia, welcome back to the show.
Yeah,
made it a year.
Wow.
We made it this far. Yeah. Right? You know, honestly, like coming out of the pandemic, and now we're like 4 years. Like 4 years ago, we were in deep lockdown.
Right.
And like it just really I'm feeling that vibe of like, yeah, we survived some shit, like, and like feeling this, like the strength of that. And I was thinking about like how many people had to not die in the past so that we could be here now. Just like the Homo sapiens that had to reproduce for like how many tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of years. And like were the results of the ones that didn't get struck by lightning, or more likely eaten by a tiger or something, or just disease. Like fall out of a tree and sort of get hit by a coconut that was a little too heavy. And so, yeah, I don't know why I got on that, but here's to feeling strong at the end of a once in a century pandemic. And not putting just so alcohol is like the worst drug mankind ever invented. It sucks. Like it's St. Patty's Day. Is it St. Patty's Day today?
It is St. Patty's Day tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
But it's Saturday on St. Patty's, so everyone's celebrating.
Yeah, I was at the Deer Park Irish pub where they're having their big party. And like I didn't get a green beer or anything. I mean, I paid $7 at the door, so that was about as much as I wanted to spend. And I just like, I didn't have any desire to like get a drink. Yeah. Like I thought, well, I was like on my way, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll get like a Corona or something just to be in the spirit of the drinking holiday. And I was like, I went to listen to music, and I like got past the like entry gate and like beelined it for the stage to see my friend play music. And like that, it was an interesting observation that like, I don't know. And then being surrounded by people who are drinking pitchers of green beer. Yeah. Just like, I don't know, seeing the juxtaposition. Like, it was a cool event. Like, you know, nothing against however anyone wants to have a good time. But it was neat to see like that the way I've been living my life and the things that I'm getting into are like just leading me to wanting to be a stronger human and getting fucked up on booze does not make me stronger. Doesn't
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, people for a very long time, drinking's been a part of human culture for so long. And, right, they drank beer because, like, water wasn't, like, safe to drink
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
long time. So then everyone drank a bunch of beer.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I never want to say, like, I feel so much pressure if I'd be like, I'm sober. These are how many days that I've been sober, because my problem was never that bad,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely had a problem in certain regards. And since being like pretty much totally sober, I feel a lot more clear-headed, a lot more useful in my work, a lot more able to like navigate things and be like a useful player in life. But it's definitely not like a cure-all. Like, I was hoping like I'd have no more problems forever, and it turns out like you gotta like get good sleep, you gotta like
Mm-hmm.
eat good food, you can't overeat, you have to like digest your food, you have to like manage your stress. And I'm like, I feel like I'm like a kid again, or just like relearning how to adult, where I'm like
Mm-hmm.
really relearning how to like my eating habits, my sleeping habits,
Mm-hmm.
and my stress management right now has been
Mm-hmm.
like, I thought I learned this, but apparently I'm relearning it.
So I listen to the Dave Chang show a lot. He's a chef that I really like, if you don't know. Um, and at the beginning of the year, they were talking about like New Year's resolutions and all that bullshit. But one of the guests on the show is talking about sleep hygiene. Have you heard about this? About sleep
I
hygiene?
have heard of that term.
It's
I paid for an online sleep hygiene class that I have not taken.
you got to take it. You
Yeah.
got to take it. And yeah, let me know, because I mean, I just listened to one podcast, maybe another half of one, because they kept talking about it. But like the idea of sleep hygiene, of cleaning up like your sleep routine, and that's something I've been just like gaining awareness of since I heard them talk about it, and like was like, oh yeah, that's a thing I'd kind of been noticing I was shitty at, but didn't really like didn't have I was recognizing there was like friction, but I didn't know where the rub was.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, it's my I like just like the concept, just the verbiage sleep hygiene is stuck in
Yeah.
my brain.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I've got a real bad habit of snacking late at night. I love
For sure.
graham crackers with a scoop of peanut butter and then dip it in chocolate chips.
Whoa.
Shit is bomb.
Nice.
Oh my god. And have you got
Yeah.
dates? Have you
Yes.
got a date in there?
Oh.
And like that at like 8:45, smart decision.
Yes.
That at 11:50, not a smart decision. I feel
No.
like I've noticed like feeling groggy. Like if I eat a bunch of
Yeah.
food late at night, especially like heavy sugar
Yeah.
food late at night, and then like go to sleep on that, I like wake up in a fog, like legit. Like
Yeah.
my stomach feels weird, and I like don't get up as fast. I mean, it feels like a bunch of sugar has crystallized inside of my brain.
Right. Well, in that daily habits thing that we did with when Yogi came, and it was like the Ayurvedic view, is that specifically with that, it says you should finish eating before 8 p.m. And I try to finish eating before 8 p.m., but I work late, and so sometimes it's before 9 p.m. But then he also said at least 3 hours before you go to bed. But the big goal is you want to digest all of your food before you sleep, or else you fall asleep with it sitting in your stomach. So it is crystallizing in your brain in a way, but in your stomach where a lot of your nerve endings are. And it's like your gut's kind of like a brain. So
This is wild. So I think it's Christmas Carol, the one with Scrooge. You know, he gets visited by the three ghosts.
Yes.
There's this line in it when I think it's the ghost of Christmas Future. It's like the scariest one shows up, and he's
okay.
freaking out, and he goes, no, this is just a spectrum, a dream, a bit of undigested beef. Nothing more
Yeah.
than that. And I don't know where I picked this up, but someone was talking about how back in like the 1800s, the time frame that was set, they believed that nightmares could be caused by undigested meat in your stomach. Like if you went to bed with a belly full of meat, you would have bad dreams. It's just like, I mean, it was kind of like the person the person I heard it from was like, well, and what fucking bullshit that like, or maybe it wasn't. I don't remember, because there is so much being talked about with like the gut being the third brain and like even more a brain than like our actual brain.
Right.
And so maybe there is something to that undigested bit of beef.
Yeah. At least you,
So
at the
weird.
very like most basic, you'd feel uncomfortable. And then I feel like if your body's uncomfortable while you're dreaming, then it's going to affect your dreams. Are going to probably be negative because you feel uncomfy.
Yeah. That's
So we
really
are improving
interesting.
our mood by putting these herbs and things in our belly.
herbs. Yeah, let's see. Lemon balm, all this stuff, all these things have lemon balm in them.
Magnesium.
Lemon balm must be really good for you. I know magnesium is good
sleep
for muscles.
Yeah.
It's like helps your muscles like
Digestion.
relax.
Yeah.
L-theanine is in a lot of these things. But yeah, something like I heard about Bob Marley. It was in a documentary about him. Someone said that whenever you would go over to Bob's house, he had like fresh fruit juices and like everything you needed to make you strong. Like that's what Bob was about, like being strong. And I like held on to that, and I'm like, that's a good thing, just to like have that as a goal in mind, like, you know, to and like funny, another Bob Weir of the Grateful Dead, like this,
all the
Bobs, man. Bob Ross.
I had a friend who had a bachelorette party that was all the Bobs, and all the gals dressed up as all these different Bobs.
Oh my God.
Talking about the Bobs.
That's amazing.
So
I want to see pictures of that.
I know, it's pretty good. Yeah.
So we got Blossom Bash coming up. Check that out, people. But Julia, you're my first returning guest on the show.
Yes.
So what have you been up to in the last year?
Whew. I've been up to trying to figure out, just trying to like at first make my business happen, do all the things that I always wanted to do. Which was sick to try all that out. And then I did too much, and I kind of wasn't doing too good because I was doing too many things. So now I've been in this place where I've been reorganizing, pulling in more to center and listening to what feels most beneficial, the best use of my time. Also a way to find like a certain sense of like financial abundance or balance. I finally finished my budget last night, and it turns out that I am not making as much money as I was acting like I was. Oh my fucking God. It's so good to know the numbers. But holy hell, no disposable income. And I've definitely been acting like I have some. That's why I end up broken in debt all the time. So
No, well, it's good to know why.
yeah. So I'm done with that. Yeah. And we did easy stepping in the fall. We did art show and dances. We put on a bunch of dances in the city at Promenade Park, at Electric Works, at Silver Birch, when Ben Karen Creates visited. And then we're doing this Blossom Bash in the spring, which is kind of like the spring version of Easy Steppin', but like 2.0. Like we learned so much from Easy Steppin', of what works, what doesn't work, how to make it flow smooth. And I think with Blossom Bash, I'm really excited to see what happens, because like our organization levels there's a great momentum there. I know, at least for myself, I'm not doing the job of 4 people, which is really awesome. And I think in general, and then our location's amazing too. And we have vendors now, which I think is a really cool addition to it.
I mean, hopefully it's going to feel like a little mini music festival.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that I'm hungry for in life, and like was maybe my kind of secret agenda when we were planning this idea out.
Mm.
And I just like I have dreams of being at music festival, of like setting up the
Yeah.
vending, like being in like the tents, or like I don't know if it's like I'm full on like, but just like
And you
very
actually
often.
have dreams, not like metaphorical. Like you
No,
have.
like when I'm asleep at night, and
Yeah.
I mean I'll be honest,
I have festival
two
dreams.
about 2/3 of them are like when it goes wrong and like
Yep.
someone's
Oh, I've had
taken our
that.
camping spot, or like can't get the car out of the mud,
Yeah.
or like the hill is too steep for some reason, and how are we gonna get, dream shit.
Yeah. Mine's the ceiling collapsed, but I don't know
Oh,
why it was
interesting.
inside.
But like that's been a thing that I mean, and then I guess also what an awaking dream, a hope and dream
Yeah.
as well, a hope as well as a sleeping dream, to just like be to like make that happen and be a part of providing that to people, because like in my like early, well, I think I went to my first music festival when I was like 17.
Wow. What music festival?
It was called The Workout. It was put on by The
Oh,
Works.
yeah.
It
What
was,
year?
I was 2012.
Oh, yeah.
It was the second year they had it, and it was
Wow.
like real small.
Mm-hmm.
But Donna Jean Gotcha of the Grateful Dead was there and played with Dark Star Orchestra.
Oh.
And like from our campsite, we could actually like see the main stage. That's how
Yeah, up on the
small the
hill?
fest it was. No, it was not at Legend Valley. It was
Oh.
at a different location.
Wow.
Even it was at like
Okay.
a smaller venue. They outgrew it that
Wow.
year and like had to go to Legend Valley the next year.
Like 2016 or 17.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Might I don't know if I don't think I went that
I
year.
had a rough time. That was before I stopped drinking and doing all the crazy things I used to do.
It can happen. I've had those. I've had those.
That's the
Yeah.
Wash and Bash. We don't. That's the festival without the
Yeah.
without the shit.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, on all full disclosure, I remember being in a fest one time, and like we bought some Molly, and then word started going around that it was like laced with meth. And we're like, yeah, there's meth in the Molly.
Oh
And
no!
we're
Yeah.
like, all right, guess we're not eating that tonight.
Yeah,
And thank God we heard that, because like who
Yeah.
knows how many days we could have been up straight if we wouldn't have. And I mean, maybe it wasn't true, but like, I mean, just like
We tested Molly and had meth in it once, so
I believe it. I 100%
Yeah.
believe it.
And
Especially
Nelson's
nowadays, like with
Yeah.
fentanyl being on the scene. Like I do
Oh,
not
it's
want
not
to fuck with that
safe.
stuff. Like
No.
no. Like I mean, yeah, a decade
is
ago,
really-
5 years ago,
Yeah,
like
no.
sure I'd get a bag of something from a stranger maybe if I like felt it was like you just kind of feel a person out. But nowadays, no, no, I would not do that at all. Like just see, yeah, I mean, hearing about a person taking, what they think is one pill of Molly, and it turns out that it's spiked and laced with fentanyl, and then they end up dead.
Right. I had a
like
friend almost die.
fucking sucks. And so, in light of that, we're putting on shows that don't have that as like a main focus, or at least we're not like selling booze. We're trying to like do it in a way that is more healthy and more in. I mean, I was talking about it this morning because I was at the East End Eclectic for the Misfit Market. And was talking to Kayla Mendez, who's going to be one of our vendors.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to meet her.
And yeah, they were like stoked that there's like a non-alcoholic, like dry
Yes.
thing going down. And like my perspective as a musician is like I'm not really interested in playing bar shows, because like I
Right.
want people to be present for the music.
Right.
And it just takes that one drunk asshole to like ruin a good show. And maybe a really good performer will be able to like diffuse that, or a security guard will take care of it. But like that's not always the case.
Right.
And so
totally.
like to be able to like just try and reduce the possibility of yelling loud boisterous asshole during my set to
Yeah.
like cater an entire event that isn't dependent on like a culture that doesn't make people stronger. Like
Yeah.
we like the I want people to like after my set feel energized and like
Yeah.
inspired to go and live their life and like
Mm-hmm.
do whatever they got to do their laundry, go to a day job, pay their rent till the next show, till the next time we can get together and dance and party.
Right.
Um, and then everybody's got to get home too. Like that's an important aspect. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the the safety of this is something I've been wanting to bring up to like the production crew, how like
Uh,
I feel that we have a responsibility to the audience,
yeah.
you know, and they have a responsibility for themselves, but like
Mm-hmm.
there is I don't know, it's they're supporting us, and so I
Yeah.
want to like take care of them because we're only able to
Yeah.
do this because people buy tickets and show up and have
Right.
been showing up to the dances.
Yes.
And
Right.
so I'm grateful that I feel like we're doing that. I think we're even
Yeah.
without me yet fully verbalizing that, it's something that we've been doing like just already, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that it's really cool because there's kind of this like wave of people who are really interested in social environments that aren't always focused around booze. Um I think that they're like the younger generation particularly, I think has kind of like been more of that like gung
Mm-hmm,
ho as
mm-hmm,
like a collective feeling that way, and maybe like that stronger thing, like they're noticing how um much like how much better or like more useful people are when we're not all drunk and on substances all the time. And but also it's not like I'm hating on all that, cuz like I have plenty of people that I love in my life who don't abuse those things, and sometimes their life gets, you know, they work and then they just like want to let loose, and that's the way they want to let loose, and so like go for it, you
mm-hmm,
know. But I think people don't realize that there's another option of a way to socialize and to express themselves and to have joy. And like to me, and you say like giving back is like how I imagine it. Giving back is like getting people more in that state where they can like hear what you could say like the dharma, or they could just remember their true nature of happiness and joy and like love and those kinds of things, and like providing events and providing things that help remind people like, hey, like even though you were stuck at home like with your dark thoughts and you feel so like isolated and far away from everyone and alone, like we still have these places where you can show up however you are. There's going to be a lot of really happy, joyful people that are happy to see you. You don't have to drown your sorrows with booze per se. And we have other fun bevies. We have some herbal bevies. We've got music. We have live painting. We have aerialists, different arts and crafts and things, dancing, amazing DJs, uh, just to support people to opening up in that way and warming
mm-hmm,
up in that way.
mm-hmm,
And I think alcohol, like, I mean, right, like we did talk about how alcohol, like beer was like instead of water they would drink, but
mm-hmm,
also like there's that social anxiety thing. Like I think some people, and that's in the past when I would drink a lot, it was because of the social anxiety I would get where I would show
mm-hmm,
up to an event and I would not know what to do with myself. So I would go grab a cocktail or a beer or something, and then I drink it, and then you get that initial rush, and then you kind of want to like keep that going. Um, and then for me, next thing you know, I was blackout drunk. But
yeah, and then like the social aspect of it, I think is the biggest part of it. Like humans are social creatures. I think we can all agree on that.
Mhm.
And it's, I mean, now interesting post pandemic where at least like here in Fort Wayne, it was like a pretty serious lockdown that we went
Mhm.
through. Like it was like there's a lot of hospitals in Fort Wayne and like older people and like
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know if political beliefs really had anything to do with that.
Mm.
Now looking back, I think it more had to do with like the social scene of a place, and maybe population.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but now, like after after going through that like legit antisocial experience of like
Mm.
having to stay home and not see people, like not even having the
Yeah.
option, like I feel like we at the very least I have a different perspective on like socializing and like what that like means and looks like, and like my
Huh.
interactions with other people
Uh-huh.
have definitely like taken on a different flavor.
Yeah.
um and I think like I yeah, it's just an interesting thing I'm seeing as people start like going out into the world again. Like I mean the Deer Park Irish pub was fucking packed
Right. I know.
today.
I feel like we've really fully come back from it in
Hmm.
a big way.
Hmm.
I mean, I know a lot of people still are getting sick, and there are people who feel like they want to wear masks and stuff because that works for them, or because they're immunocompromised or they're taking
Hmm.
care of
Hmm.
somebody like that. But I feel like as a majority, when you go out to a public place
Hmm.
like Deer Park, people are
Yeah.
living, doing the thing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And like full bore, like I mean there were the renegades that were still going out in the the deep of the pandemic,
Uh-huh.
um and the real stern-headed people, um and maybe I fell into that category a couple times.
Everyone's
um
got to live their life
yeah, but
however it works for them.
yeah, but now that like people are showing back up to stuff, I feel like
Yeah.
there's a different um air, or like people want to interact in a different way, or maybe like I think we realized we were like kind of bad at socializing with people, and the
Yeah.
pandemic like kind of made it worse because we
Yeah.
were forced inside and like had to communicate digitally so much.
Yeah.
And it like, and now getting back to it, we're realizing, oh, like, but also we do know how to do these things innately, like
Mm-hmm. Right.
so I feel like there was because there was also the like almost glorification
Mm.
of antisocial tendencies. Like, do you feel like you
Uh,
saw that like, and almost like
mm.
making it like a badge, like people online like using it as like a meme and a joke of like, oh, I'm just like an antisocial person, I stay home all the time and I don't like
Yeah.
talking to people, I don't like the whole like I don't like people thing.
I think that's
Like
been around before the
yeah,
pandemic,
it
but
definitely was,
definitely,
it was.
definitely. I mean, I've felt like a curmudgeon before,
Hmm. Hmm.
and people are like yeah, haters of like humanity, haters and stuff. That's just like an outlook, and also
Hmm.
the people who I've expressed that before, and the people who are maybe expressing it more frequently or louder, that's not like their fixed way of being.
Hmm.
They're just shut down in some way, or also overstimulated. Like I get that too. Like sometimes spaces can feel overstimulating, and so people have to find that like middle ground for
Hmm.
themselves, or like take little like bites out of the social moment.
Hmm.
Like for me, for the longest time, I didn't know how to socialize unless it was like a organized event. Like it
Hmm.
was like an ecstatic dance, or it was like a thing we were going to at Jill's, or like it was an event that was organized around some sort of like there was a structure and someone was leading it and we were like
Hmm.
following that
Hmm.
structure, like a free for all social event. I was like, just panic mode 100%. And I had to, and then first it was always like grabbing a substance like booze or something like that, or harder things back in my day. And then it started to be like, okay, well, this feeling that I would start having, like being curious around this feeling, and then like practicing around like being with that stressful thing or that voice or that like uncomfortable feeling I would get, and growing my capacity to just kind of sit with it and let it be there and like not have so much panic around it. But no, that's just the human experience is kind of like we have this uncomfortability at times, and of course we want to like mask it or tuck it away or numb out to it. But I think that if we can grow our capacity to just kind of be with it, then we can access that like more steadfast, like joy, love thing that's like always and already there. But it takes courage to do that. And also capacity, like not everyone's at that point. I had people who were like guiding me and reminding me and then people around me I was looking up to about it too.
So do you still notice that like thing come up that
Yes.
before you were trying to subdue with like outside substances or just something from outside? Like, does that still come up?
Yes. So it's like the last podcast we did together reminds me of the dog thing, the old dogs thing. And yeah, it's still there, but it's like an old dog now more of like, it doesn't run the show as much. It's a little more quiet. I think some of them eventually, or at least like what Jill says is eventually some of them do go away. I think maybe some of them have gone away. I'm not fully sure, but they're definitely like, I have more choice around them. And yeah, I mean, like before I speak in public, no matter what, I get this like huge shaking rush that like I haven't fully figured out how to quell in a way. And I used to, I think before I would have just run away from that totally and just like collapsed. Like my nervous system would have collapsed in on itself. I would have run away. But like when I did the wellness conference at the library, before I was going on, like my heart was beating so much and my chest was like moving. And the person who I was sharing the time with, I was like, you should go first. And my voice may have been a little shaky at times. But I would not have been able to do that even in the slightest, like 3, 5, let alone 10 years ago. It would have been like, I feel like I would have like poofed into like nothingness or something.
That's awesome. I did a show a couple years back with Nick Tash, who was on the podcast a couple months ago. It was Faustus. He and I talked about that show a bit, but I to preface this, I used to tell my voice students that if you're a little nervous, that's a good sign because it means you want to do a good job and you care about what you're doing. If you were like totally lackadaisical about it, that means you like aren't actually invested, at least from my perspective. And so I would tell them like a little bit of nerves is good. So don't let that run away. But I remember before that show, it was like a real intense show. We like worked on it really hard. Like everybody was given 100%. And so I like, had that like physical feeling of like, okay, I'm about to go on stage in front of people. And so right before I would go on, I would do a bunch of push-ups and I would get my heart rate going. I would like run in place just to like get my heart rate up and my body running so that like, it's not that I'm nervous. My heart isn't pounding because I'm nervous. My heart is pounding because I just did a bunch of push-ups and I'm ready to go. And it just like, I don't like little things like that have helped me out. And so I wonder like, what are there any little like things that you do differently or like ways that you interact with those emotions or like sensations like when you were at the library than you did 5 years ago?
I mean, I was doing the things like trying to breathe deeply and not much was happening. And I was like, okay, like this is impermanent, like this will shift. The person who presented before me, they did some yoga. And so I did their yoga movements and I was like, that was really nice to do their yoga movements. And I mean, the exercising thing, like when I spoke in front of people last year at Busker Fest, I had just gotten done hula hooping. So I was like already like that was great because I had no time to even think about it or be nervous. But then for this one particularly, I was taking people through somatic practice. So I was like, I had to have like this calm, composed, like I felt like that made the pressure worse. But basically it's like once just getting started, just like going and getting it going, like anytime you start something, sometimes it's a little like creaky or squeaky or awkward or but then once it gets going, then I feel like and trying to not feel too much pressure with it to an extent. Yeah. Like, I think it was so much pressure because it was like, oh my gosh, this is like a career defining moment. But it's like, it doesn't have to be that. It's good to, like you said, to be a little nervous because it means you care. Like, you're not totally like apathetic. But like, I don't know. Maybe that's just a part of it too. I don't know.
What do you mean?
The energy before someone had presented it once like, oh, it's not nerves, it's just like energy, like you're just like excited and you have this energy you want to share with everyone. And I think too it was like a mind game thing too. Like I was presenting in front of all these clinical people who were like academic, clinically minded, and I was kind of coming in with this like hippy dippy thing. And my audience is generally like hippy dippies, and like clinical academic is not my typical environment. And so I also feel this extra pressure to like perform or like belong or like, look, I could be academic and clinical too, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that kind of made it so overwhelming. And then like the gal who was doing the yoga before me she's just been doing it for so long. Like I felt like kind of like the imposter syndrome thing too.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and like I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you made all that up in your head.
Right, exactly, totally. That's like
that's how it is for me.
Yes, exactly. This is the mind insanity.
No one told you that. No one said, hey, that's a bunch of clinically trained people out there, you better be on your shit. Like no one said that to you, right?
No one.
The yoga lady didn't come out and, ooh, rough crowd, like
right. No, not at all. It was my brain. And so I'm like in my brain having this conversation like, hey, like chill the fuck out, like it's okay, like it's not that big of a deal, like you're like trying to calm it down, and the other one's like and then my heart's just like, and I'm like, bro, my heart is beating so fast right now, and there was just no stopping it. There was just like going through with it. And so it was just basically like, still do the thing, even though like all of this is happening, just do the thing. And I got a lot of great feedback from a bunch of people, and then we did this panel at the end, and like I'm kind of like have this very gentle shaking going on that like nobody can probably notice, but I can feel. And then like the gal who was on the panel next to me, they were talking and they seemed so eloquent and so smart, and then I looked over and their hand was shaking too. So it's like, I think all of us are kind of like like this, the energy.
Yeah.
Even like if you go in front of a group of people, you can almost feel the energy of everybody else, so it like judges you up so much, and you almost feel like you're on a high afterwards or something like that, because it's and so just do it. Just do it.
Oh yeah.
Nike.
Yeah, absolutely. Phil Knight, that's my boy. I read his book a couple of years ago. It's called Shoe Dog.
And this is the guy who came up with that?
I don't know if he came up with the just do it, but he started Nike. He like made the shoes.
Okay.
Like it was back in I think the 80s or something, and he like legit made shoes for Olympians. He like 100% revolutionized shoe sole technology, like the waffle print shoe sole. A friend of Phil Knight's made that on a waffle iron in his garage.
Whoa,
and like
what the heck?
he like hobbled this thing, he cobbled it together and gave it to Olympians, and then they had better traction on the track and won gold medals. And then it's now Nike, and there's like fashion sportswear and everything. They legit were making shoes for runners. He was like a running geek, and just like, wasn't good enough to go to the Olympics, but like had a passion for it, and saw a place where he could still be a part of the sport, and got to go to the Olympics. His shoes were on the feet of like all the American athletes in like the Olympics in like, I don't know, the late 80s or early 90s or something. So yeah, just do it, man. That's legit.
That's crazy.
That like thing of there being a lot of energy. I mean, like when you're up on a stage, like to think. So from my life experience, I did my first theater show when I was in 5th grade. I was at the youth theater in the civic theater, probably like holds 5 to 700 people, maybe more.
Whoa, yeah, yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
a big room, and I was in like
Yeah.
5th grade. I didn't have like a actually I had like a supporting role. No, that was the second show. But anyway, I've been going up on stages since I was in like 5th grade. I
Yeah.
was what, 11,
Uh,
and so I'm like 29 now. That's almost, that's 18 years. That's a full grown adult of time I've been going up on stages in front of groups of
yeah.
people.
Right, right.
And like I still get that nervousness. Like not all
Yeah.
the time. It's way less often. Like today when I
Right.
went to play the Misfit Market, I like was not nervous about it at all. I
Right,
mean, I
right.
had like mind fuck stuff going on, of course.
Right.
Like, but for the most part, I was like pretty focused on playing music and just like serving the music and providing it to the people that showed up. And so I don't think it goes away, but it like definitely doesn't become, it becomes less of a deal. It's just like, a thing that the build up, that initial like wave of nervousness eventually like just becomes a snap, and you're like, oh well, that's just part of getting ready. It's like putting on your shoes or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
And it's nothing more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't even have to be if you're on stage. It's like when you enter a room to like go to a party or an event that you've never gone to before, when you go to a new class, when you go to your first ecstatic dance, like if you if you want to learn tap and you're like, I'm gonna go to a tap class, and you like walk in that door, like you're gonna feel all those same kind of things. Just is this fear? Is that just like fear?
I mean, in certain cases, yes.
Yeah.
Many people would say that is the definition of fear.
Yeah.
I think it's like one of the 3 biggest fears in life. It's like death, like it's like death of a spouse, and like public speaking or
Yeah,
something.
you're
It's
right,
like, I
you're
forget what the
right.
other big one, but it's like
Yeah.
serious things. Like you don't get to do anything else,
Yeah.
and just standing up in front of people and reading off a sheet of paper
Yeah.
terrifies people.
Yeah.
And I mean, and to kind of bring back to the social thing,
Yeah.
like it's I mean, I just find it so interesting that
Right.
we in the human experience have that thing where like I mean, as infants we need attention, like a baby needs to be held and like nurtured.
Right.
And then like when we get old, as we grow, one of the things that freaks us out the most is exactly that thing that we needed
Right.
to become a functioning human that can even hold a piece of paper and can even read off of it. Like that's just such a like a wild and interesting trip that we go on. And I think it is like I mean, from this perspective, linear, like, because there is that aspect where we're growing and changing, and now going out into public, showing up to see my friend play, and like his fiance comes and gives me a hug, and we like do a dance around for a little bit, and like a slight swing dance and stuff, and just like to be open to someone, my friend's fiance, taking my hand and like making me dance her around. And like that aspect of like human engagement, like we didn't even really like say anything or like I mean, I said, hey, good to see ya.
Yeah.
And like that was like our interaction, and like I got to give him like a thumbs up on stage, like, sounds good, man. And like it was like a wonderful, beautiful experience that like I'm gonna remember for a really long time. Best St. Patty's Day I've had in quite a while. And I'm not hungover tomorrow. I'm gonna be at our production meeting at noon.
Well, so that's what they say people really want is connection. And that's when they're a lot of the time when they're drinking, that's what they're going for. And I think there's a festival in like Colorado or Oregon, Canada, somewhere west over there, and it's a sober festival. And like you're supposed to be totally sober there. And that's what they talk about a lot, is that's what people are looking for, is connections. So they have like workshops and different ways to like, and in the videos they have of this festival, everyone, you're like, these people are sober, but they're like, wow, having the time of their life. But because they're just like in that place of like trust and free flowing and like openness and all of those things.
Yeah.
And it is so funny how, I mean, I feel like some of it is that like clinging to self, or like clinging to ego, or like clinging to our idea of ourself, and like taking ourselves so seriously. Because if you're not doing that, then you're not going to be offended. And like in Thailand, there was a lot less of that. I think maybe in big part because their culture is built around, like, it's a Buddhist culture. That's like the religion or thought that is a part of that culture. And everyone is so like friendly and open in those ways. I mean, it's not perfect, like, right, there's no utopia. But I do think that if we're willing to like not take ourselves so seriously. I was even listening to this podcast with Tara Brock and some other person, but it was like how to get over yourself or something like that. And it's just like, and it was specifically around leaders and like the kind of leaders who can truly get over themselves. And like, you don't actually have to have this quality to be like successful and like wealthy and all these things. And there's few leaders in the West who do have those qualities. But the biggest thing, it's so much lighter. Like, I had some experiences over there that like were, I think you've been there when I've told you about them, of like, just like incredibly feeling like my ego just like got stomped on, chopped up, like thrown around, and just like, I felt so humiliated at times, so uncomfortable, so like totally nobody. But it was, and at the time it was so uncomfortable, but ultimately felt awesome, because afterwards there's this lightness that's off, and the pressure is lifted. And even in that podcast, they talk about how, like, some people who are like famous, or extremely wealthy, they have this prison because the people around them, it's so insulated. Like, everyone's always complimenting them, that they never get a true like mirror or like a true like soundboard as to like how they actually are, and like how their behavior is actually affecting people. And it can be
there was a scene of that in The Sopranos. I didn't watch it, but it was I heard about it, I think, in another podcast, and it was like the big soprano Don guy, he like realizes that everybody around him is only around him because he's like the man. He's like the leader of the mafia. And so he starts like testing them. And there's this scene where it's everybody around the table and he cracks a shitty joke. It's not funny. He like knows, he knowingly delivers a joke that's not funny.
Yeah.
And all the dudes start cracking up.
Oh my god.
And it like goes slow-mo and they're like, ha!
Oh my god!
You know, guys in the background are like bent double, and it like and it just zooms in on him and his like frown because he realizes none of these fuckers are telling me the truth.
Yeah,
I just told a shitty joke and none of them will tell me that.
Right.
I don't have any friends.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what it came down to. He's like, I am completely alone.
Yeah.
In a room full. And it was like that exact thing. And like, I mean, that sounds like a pit of despair to me. And like, I mean, on the opposite, one of my favorite Chili Peppers songs is called Knock Me Down. And Anthony wrote it after getting out of rehab. Maybe like the second time. Man's still going strong. He's clean today. Going up on stage and slaying those shows. Man is working hard. And he wrote this song, and the chorus goes, if you see me getting high, if you see me getting by, knock me down. I'm not bigger than life. And it's about like having those people around that will like check you when you're getting up on your high horse, or like your head's getting swollen or something. Like those people that are like, dude, you're being a fucking asshole, are important, are very, very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like it takes somebody to have the courage to say that. It takes a person who's willing to like kind of step into a little bit of conflict. And like, because I know for myself, I'm not always that person who is willing to say that because I don't know, from my own habits, I'm like scared of upsetting somebody. But it's kind of coming from this self-focusing thing. Because I'm not thinking really about them. I'm thinking about how it's going to affect me. Excuse me. Does that make sense?
I think so. I'm thinking of what you said earlier about like the build and then like the release of energy, and it made me think
Yeah.
of like catharsis, which is like the release of emotion at the end of like a good play or a piece of theater, or like a good piece of art provides a purge of some sort. And I
Yeah.
feel like that same thing happens when someone can call you out for your shit from like a place of compassion
Yeah.
and can do so honestly, and then it's like legit enlightenment. You're like literally like light is being shined on your
Right.
own mind by someone else, and
Yeah.
like and then like the catharsis happens, and it's like an aha moment goes off of like, oh yeah, I got caught up in it again, thank you for that. And then
Yeah.
like when and if you can meet both ways, and sometimes the other person isn't going to be able to meet you halfway because they're so wrapped up in it, you might have to
Right.
crack a little harder on that nut. But like I feel like when like that can be done, like I said, from a place of
Hmm.
compassion, it can provide like it creates connection, right? And that's what we're all
Right.
going for.
Yeah. Connection, letting the pressure go. Um, and two requires the person hearing it not taking it so personally, because I've in the past gotten that feedback and then gone into this like downward spiral. Oh, I'm so terrible. Ah, woe is me. Wow, wow. Like I need to go be I need redemption or something like that. Um but yeah, you're so right. It makes real connection because people are like actually present and like being authentic, and instead of like floating on the surface being like, yeah, 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 everything's great. It's like really, yeah, meeting there. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And it's I mean it's real shit. That's the real shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like life is too short to not just get to the real shit,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and now that we're after going through a pandemic and having death and
Right.
the shortness of life be brought to our awareness, like maybe that's part of why
Right.
people are hungering for more authentic connection, because we were
Right.
just reminded like,
Value.
yeah, this is we only get so many circles around the sun,
Right.
only so many summers on this earth.
Yeah.
Like, and it's more than likely fewer than we think,
Yeah.
in
Totally.
many cases. And so like let's get out, and this is me talking to me, get
Mm-hmm.
out there and like have fun in the park this summer. Like,
Yeah.
do it, go for a hike, or do that
Get
thing
off the
that
phone.
that you want to do but you've been putting off for for
Right.
bullshit reasons, uh
Mm-hmm.
in the name of productivity. I need to go on more hikes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you asked at the beginning, you were like, how have you been in the last year? And I feel like last year was for myself was like, pandemic's over, let's fucking do this. And I like try to do it
Hmm.
all, but it was too much. It was like too crazy. It was scattered. It was like, my analogy was like, I was just like throwing anything at the wall and see what
Hmm.
stuck. And I saw what stuck and I saw what didn't stick for now. And this year it's more like, how can I do this in a balanced way? How can I like genuinely show up in my full self with authenticity, like being fully present and like really make the most of it, more like quality over quantity type thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm gonna run to the
Yep.
bathroom real quick.
Yeah.
We'll get back in just a minute. Quality over quantity.
Hmm.
I like I was thinking earlier while we were talking about Blossom Bash and like having vendors and like bringing more collaborators into it. Like
Hmm.
we got some real good people
Oh yeah.
on this. Like
100%.
everybody is solid.
Yeah.
Like it just, and like doing the podcast too, it's blowing my mind how like good of a scene we've got.
Right.
Like it's awesome.
Yeah, there are some people who may come out that like haven't been out in a long time, and everyone I'm telling, I'm like, this is your place you want to come
Yeah.
out to, because it's like it's going to be such a welcoming crowd of people. Like it doesn't matter how you show up, it doesn't matter if you feel like awkward or uncomfortable or all the things. Like the people who are all there that have been showing up to dances and then who are like being a part of the art making too, they're all just really solid individuals who genuinely want the best, everyone to have the best out of things, like thinking about more collective type attitude. It's not a utopia, like
Yeah.
but it is, it's really cool. It's really, and it's exciting.
Yeah. I went, when I went out to Oregon, I stayed at like a hippie commune for a few weeks. And then on my trip back, I ran into a painter who hated hippies.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. He like said that I hate hippies. I can't stand them. And he was also missing the same half finger as Jerry Garcia.
What?
Jerry Garcia was missing half of his middle finger on his right hand, and I noticed this dude that hated hippies had the exact same hand as Jerry. And I was just like, the fucking
That's hilarious.
coincidences. But he had this painting called Utopia Road, and it was like the most impactful piece of art I think I've ever seen. And it was like this painting of, it looked like the Trail of Tears. It looked like a depiction of the Trail of Tears, like that the American Indians were led down at gunpoint away from their homelands by the American settlers. But it was people of like all different skin colors. It was like everybody totally stark naked, wide-eyed, being led down this trail by like armed soldiers, like in greens and like helicopters in the back. And he said, that's the road to utopia. That's what it looks like when everybody's the same.
Right. Totally.
And,
I mean, that's Hitler's was his.
Yeah, he wanted to create a utopia and have to get rid of a lot of people to do that, which is not what we're gonna do.
No.
And so just that stuck with me of like, the idea of, I mean, and then the positive thing to pull out of that is the beauty of diversity and the fact that like we're all different. And even in like the ugly times, you know, when we're going through the shit and, you know, when I'm at my worst, like at the very least, we're not all like that. We're not always all crazy or like, you know, I mean, that's impermanence, right? You know, nothing's going to stay the same. Everything's going to change. And so just like, and again, to bring it into a positive tone of voice, it's awesome that there are so many people doing different types of things in such good ways, like where we find ourselves in this point in the time-space continuum. Like here in Fort Wayne, there's like a great diversity of people, but so many people share the same mindset of like, we care about this place, this community, and like the people that are here. And it's true. It's like the most inspiring thing for me to see, like that people are showing up and supporting it and just being a part of the community as it is and as it will become. So come to the show.
Yeah.
Another one like it is never going to happen again.
It's true.
Each one is different, and that's the intent.
I know. It's what, this is Tuesday? This is coming out Tuesday?
Yeah.
So in
I might go on Patreon earlier because
3 or 4 days. Yeah. it's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited to.
Mhm.
Oh, and I can show you guys the hat that I made.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah.
it's crazy. I was almost thinking about making a matching crown, and Brent could
Oh,
wear the hat, and then
cool.
I could wear the crown, and
That
then
would be
we could be doing
awesome.
our LED things like that.
That would be rad.
It just would require me going to having time to go get those supplies and making it. So we'll see. Because he's like, you spent days making this. He's like, you're gonna make something else. It just a top hat. I thought I could always look cool in a top hat, but I don't think a top hat is my style.
You don't think
But
so?
no, I wanted to be a top hat person. For I've been dreaming of being a top hat person for a long time.
Hmm.
Even when I had dreadlocks and I like shaved them off, I was like, I could finally be a top hat person. Swear to God.
It doesn't look good on you. You don't feel like it fits.
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know
feels
if I've
too
ever seen you in a top hat.
boxy.
Did you
Yeah.
wear a top hat at your birthday party?
No, that was a cowboy hat. I can pull a
Okay,
cowboy
yeah.
hat off.
Cowboy hat rocked.
I might
Yeah.
wear the top hat at the thing. I don't know. It's just so
Go for
boxy.
it.
So boxy. Don't feel very feminine in it.
Well, Julia, thanks for being on the show. This was rad. Where can people find you?
Oh man. Tulip Tree HAC.com is like the big one. The website's going through a little makeover, so
Nice.
in a month or two it should be ready to go. In its newest form, but it's still up there. It's doing the thing. Just some of the buttons might not. When everything that needs to be pressable is pressable, but there's some buttons that when you click them might not do something. So just be patient.
We're interneting out here.
Yes, I'm
We
on it.
are the IT department.
Yeah, we are. We're all the things. Yes.
Many hats.
Yes. Got a closet. There's one of them's a top hat, I think. I'm on Instagram. tuliptreehac.com is the hand, or whoa, not .com, just at Tulip Tree HAC, and that's the same for TikTok. I'm not as big on the social media as I was last time I was on this. I was like social mediaing it up. I'm trying to lean away from social media and lean more into the email newsletter, and then eventually the blog on my website. But that's what's the
Nice.
transition's happening the next month or two. But I Instagram is something I use more, and if people do message me on Instagram, like I definitely get to it in a couple days. I'm not very good at abstaining from social media.
And yeah, your email newsletter is really good. I think you might be
Yeah.
running the best one that comes to my inbox.
Good.
So people definitely check that out. It's a good way to keep up with the cool shit that you're doing,
Heck
that Julia
yeah.
is doing. So yeah, links to all that will be in the description below. So check it out. Yeah, come to a dance, come to Blossom Bash, get a massage from Julia. She's really good at it.
Fresh from Thailand with extra new skills.
Yeah, new tricks.
Yeah.
new parts under the hood. The horsepower has increased.
Yes. More gentle but more intense somehow.
Yes, that is accurate. Righteous. Well, thanks again, Julia.
Thank you, Alejandro.
Thanks for being on the show, Julia. Always good to have you. She's a really good friend of mine, and it's really cool that she was the first repeat guest on the show. I'm a year in. I had to renew the domain, so it's like full on been a year on paper. It's kind of wild how time flies, man. But get your tickets to Blossom Bash. There'll be links in the show notes below, links to Julia's pages, and for real, get on her email newsletter. It's really awesome, and I appreciate the time and energy that she puts into that. So check it out. Oh geez, I once again haven't picked a song, so I'm gonna figure out what song I'll play after I finish recording this. So if you wanna hear it, check it out in the show notes. You'll find that info. And thanks for giving me your time and attention. I know that is incredibly valuable and seems to be in shorter supply these days. So I appreciate that you decided to give a little bit of your valuable time to listen to this show and to be a part of it, I guess. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all next time.
1, 2,
1, 2, 3. Let me be your salty dog, or I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Salty dog, let me be your salty dog. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Standing on the corner with a hat in a hand, wishing for a woman, ain't got no man. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Standing on the corner with the low down blues, gosh darn mud all over my shoes. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Oh, let me be your salty dog, or I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Salty dog, let me be your salty dog. Honey, let me be your salty dog. God made a woman and he made her mighty funny. When you kiss her on the mouth, it's as sweet as any honey. Honey, let me be your salty dog. The worst I ever had in my life when my best friend caught me kissing his wife. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Oh, let me be your salty dog, or I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Salty dog, let me be your salty dog. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Hello, Sarah, I know you. One old slipper and a rundown shoe. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Two old maids sitting in the sand, each one wishing the other was a man. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Oh, let me be your salty dog, or I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Salty dog, let me be your salty dog. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Sitting on a log, fingering a trigger to hound and a hog. Honey, let me be your salty dog. He pulled that trigger and the gun let go. The shot went wild to Mexico. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Oh, let me be your salty dog, or I won't be your man at all. Honey, let me be your salty dog. Salty dog, let me be your salty dog. Honey, let me be your salty dog.
Good job.